Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Haley. I'm a cashless budgeter and caregiver who's working on a relationship with finances as well as working towards financial freedom. I thank you guys for coming back to my channel, and today I am going to basically be doing my budget with me for my last paychecks of August, both full and part-time. And then we'll get into some cash stuffings and how I am basically adjusting my cash stuffing process. So, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with my full-time. By the way, this is the silent click pen. It's actually really cool. Sometimes I forget that it's unclicked. Anyway, moving on. So for the second check in August, we brought in a net $1,064.89. As far as my student loans are concerned, this is the $550 I have budgeted that will get split between my Stafford and my Direct Plus loan. So my Direct Plus loan received its $200, and only approximately $167 rounding went to interest. I have to double check the number because when I pay it, I can see what my accrued interest is for the day, but then it takes a couple of days for the math to actually play out. So, but I did send $200 to Direct Plus, and then the other $350 went to my Stafford loan. I believe it was only a couple of cents. Gosh, keep having to remember. $12 and a couple cents from this went to interest, and the rest went to principal. Again, I'll have specific numbers once I get to my actual student loan update. But yeah. Okay, so additional ties that were sent. In this case, it's a difference from what I already budgeted and paid towards ties, plus the difference in 10% of my actual number. So in this case, $11 went to additional tithes. There was no more household bills from this check. Personal, the $60 remained the same. And then insurance, I budgeted $189. Now this does include my car insurance, which has gone down for this quarter, or this pay period. But I still kept my numbers the same anyway, just in case. And there were no other additional bills that I had to worry about. So that is also $0. Okay, so for my variable savings, basically all have transferred as planned. So that is $15 that went into travel. Excuse me. I had $20 go to my future funds, which is my brokerage account. $25 went to my Roth IRA. $20 did go to my emergency fund. My account buffer received $8 total for this month. And Future Home, or DC challenge, I still have going, but that's just getting my automatic $5 weekly. That was $20 that also went into that challenge for the month. Alright, and down to restuffing and intentional spending. For my restuffing amount, it was originally going to be $66 based on the $950, but that was able to be increased again due to my car insurance dropping and of course my actual coming out higher than what I actually budget. So, and I'm sorry if I'm shaking you guys by accident. Keep knocking my desk. So this time around, $152 was going into restuffing my challenges and other envelopes, and then intentional spending received $50.32, which will remain in my account buffer for the next 2 weeks. Alright, there was no other intentional spending going on, so my impulse intervention total is $16 for the month of August. Alright, and then shifting over a little bit, for my part-time check, I actually write my part-time check out. I'm going to show you guys very quickly if I can find the actual page. And I keep everything in the same notebook, by the way. So I kind of do a mini write-out. This is from months previous, but I do a mini write-out of all of my part-time check, including how many hours, how many taxes, what went to my Roth, what I netted, what I went to tithes, and other things I paid for from my part-time checks. Alright, so let me go ahead and fill this out, and I'll be back in a minute. And we're back. That was probably a couple seconds for y'all, a couple minutes for me. But anyway, for my last check for my part-time job, I net a total of $400.72. $28.56 prior to this got taken out of my check to go into my Roth 401k. And by the way, these amounts are only what come from my check, what I put in, not what my company matches. I currently haven't worked there long enough to be fully vested, but once I am, I'll start including their match as well into this total. All right, and then one change from my last check to this check is I did take $82 out to finish restuffing my challenges for the end of this month. If you guys saw my previous video or started talking about it in my previous video, this is the only time I am comfortable actually using my part-time check to go into saving challenges at this very moment in time. I'm trying to pay off my small student loan as fast as possible. Even though I'm projected for January, I like to do it by December, if not earlier. So the bulk of my part-time, if not all of my part-time, aside from tithes, is more than likely going to go towards my student loans. But since I made such a large payment from the first check, along with meeting my $200 minimum, which I was able to put $250 to my Stafford loan, I felt comfortable taking out $82 to finish my goal number to put into savings. So that's why 82 came from. And then the remaining $28.72 I kept in my buffer because I was going to travel for Labor Day weekend, but then our plans basically got rained on, so I ended up not having to need it. So that might get reallocated to savings, or I might leave it in my buffer. I haven't 100% decided yet, but more likely I'm just going to keep it there just in case. Alright, and then $40 from tithes is 10% of what I actually brought in for the end of this month, and then, as I stated before, the $250 went towards my Stafford student loan. So that's really it for my end of month budget, which means nothing. Yeah, so like I was saying, nothing really exciting going on here, but I did want to talk about two of my challenges I budgeted for and how I am starting to implement cash planning into how I fill my saving challenges in my envelopes. And we're going to transition in 3, 2, 1. And here we are. So these are my binders. If you guys don't know, this is my adulting binder. This is where mostly property taxes, different bills and whatnot, annual bills that I know I have to cover that are mandatory, go into this binder. And this is my flower binder. This is the other half of my emergency fund. And the challenges I have in here are going towards my goal of having a $10,000 emergency fund. So I'm going to start with my adulting binder first, so we can see how it worked out with my cash planning. So if you guys don't know, my favorite part, my adulting binder, I did cash plan to restart my property tax challenge, which is from TNL Budgets. I'll leave the channel down in the description below. The challenge is no longer on their Etsy shop as far as I know of, but I will still leave their channel down in the description. You can visit their Etsy shop for other products, as I think they reopened it at this point. So I'm restarting my property tax challenge for 2026. I've already saved up what I needed to for 2025, and I'll actually be making that payment shortly in the next coming weeks. Upcoming weeks. I think it's due in October, but I can pay as early as September, which I'm probably going to do, since I'm already done, or ideally done. So with restarting this challenge, what I decided to do was go ahead and do the scratch off, which again is no longer available on Etsy. And I scratched off $100, and I decided to have the extra roundup be $10. If you guys remember, the extra roundup was for escrow for a future home, but I decided to move all future home envelopes into my soft binder that you guys will either see in this video or next video. So I replaced it with reassessment. Now, this is a older debt envelope that I am reusing, But basically, this is for every, I think, 2 or 3 years. Property taxes get reevaluated as your home gets reassessed. Here, I believe it's every 3 years. So I am using the difference in the challenge numbers in order to save up for that, just in case it comes in higher. It has fluctuated, and of course you can appeal if you believe that is incorrect. But again, just to have a little bit of a buffer in case either home insurers and or those property taxes come in a little higher than expected. All right, so I had cash planned, if I can pull this out, and excuse the mess. I had cash planned to have $30 go into this challenge. $20 will be going towards paying off the 100 I owe you I scratched off, and then $10 to go into the debt and reassessment part. So I've already stuffed those. You can see the 20 in here. And originally I had $90 in here, so having the additional $10 made it $100. I'm also really not pressed about condensing my binders at the moment, unless they're like super thick and I need more prop bills. But long story short, I just rounded up to what I had at the moment from condensing other envelopes. So a total of $100 is here, and the debt envelope, reassessment envelope, I'll probably use both interchangeably. So getting into the cash stuffing part of this, I have added a new envelope called Seasonal Adjustments. This was inspired by a recent increase in our electric bill, and as I mentioned before, I am leaving that extra $50 in my budget now as a permanent number, but I also want to start saving up just in case certain bills come higher, especially in the summer times when it's really, really hot. The winters can be cold. We don't really have like freezing winters or anything. But there have been a couple of times where it actually got cold enough to snow, which doesn't happen here on the East Coast, at least Southeast, that much. So I wanted to save up and prepare for that. So what I'm going to do is, at least on this little number here, again, it's from TNL Budgets. I believe this came as a freebie with one of my orders I made a long time ago. Each leaf I decided to make $5, so I'm going to go ahead and mark off. My coloring is not going to be cute, guys. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, that's definitely out of the lines. Okay, apologies in advance, but I'm going to color that one leaf, and that is going to be $5 into this challenge. I can put it back in there. All right. And then this Peaceful Scratch Off came from my line budgets. I'll leave your trend down in the description below. And what I did was, while I was cash planning, I went and scratched off 1 or 2 numbers, which I'll probably do for each challenge that I have. Or roll a dice, depending on what type of challenge it is. But in this case, I did roll a dice, 6-sided dice. 1 and 5 is 1 scratch off, 2 and 4 is 2 scratch offs, and 3 and 6 is 3 scratch offs. So I believe I rolled a 4, so I scratched off 2 numbers, and that totals $17. So I was able to cash plan as a goal to have the $17 to put into this challenge. Even though I like the, I guess, suspense that scratch offs add, I am going to have to approach them a little bit more strategically. I'm trying not to have IOU except for big challenges like the property tax challenge as an exception. But for these mini ones I'm using to fund different envelopes, I'd like to be able to plan for them better. I'm not against IOUs necessarily, but I want to be able to better plan for and reach my goals as far as having certain amounts saved up by certain dates. So the $17 is going to go in an envelope for this challenge. And let me grab a dice very quickly. My random bag of dice. I'm going to go ahead and pick this red one. That went for roll. I rolled a 5, so I'm only going to do 1 scratch off. And I think I'm just going to scratch off this one right here. And I left my scratcher in my other container, as I just realized. And that's all the way across the room. And I'm not going to go get that. So if the finger scratching bothers you, I am really sorry. Alright, 7. So what I'm going to do, move these dice over, is I wrote down the envelopes I would like to hit next month. And I'm just going to take my pencil and go down to where I have seasonal adjustments shortened, and I am going to write $12. So that's $5 for another leaf on the seasonal challenge, and then the $7 on here to make 12. All right. And that's how I am going to try to cash plan better with my check, so I know what can be covered by my full-time and when I would have to pull some from my part-time at the same time. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. Or if you have any other suggestions or a better way to do this, I am open to hearing any and all suggestions. Constructive criticism, the works, you know. Because at the end of the day, I'm still trying to get better at this, and this is an ever-evolving process. So, yeah. So that's one set of challenges. And then another means of which my cash planning has helped me is with my emergency fund. It sounds like I'm shaking, you guys. I'm so sorry. I can't tell if it's my desk rattling or if it's the actual stand. Either way, I am so sorry. So for my emergency fund savings, I have 2 challenges going on right now. I have this one that came as part of my order from the Humble Budgeter with this binder, and this saves a total of $470. So I went ahead and crossed off the 30, and right now we've saved a total of 100, 200, 300, 400, 20, 30, $430. Nice. So I only have these 2 20s left to go to save the $470, and this will basically, at least right now, it'll be going towards rebuilding my rainy day fund, and once I get that to 1,000 again from this challenge, and I'll be moving on to the Virtue and Bloom challenge after I finish this. That'll be my rainy day fund and the actual flower box challenge from Maggie at Floating Funds. Again, I'll leave all creators and their channels if they have one, and or Etsy shops down below. The flower box challenge is mostly going towards building up my savings for income replacement. All right, so this challenge is very close to being done, and I'm really excited about that. And then I had, for the Flower Farm Box Challenge, I did pick, I believe it was a base. Hold on, to flip to find it for a minute. Here, I had a greenery base that was only $1, so I went ahead and put $1 in. Didn't feel the need to really cash stuff that, but I'm going to show you guys how I pick what I'm doing every week. As far as this is concerned, again, the cards, I just pick at random. I only have 2 20s left, so if I can do 40, that's great. But the goal is to get at least one of the 20 off. One of the 20s, excuse me, off. So what I'm going to do here on my sheet, where it says flower binder, I am going to put a range. So for the first challenge, I would love to have 40, but like $20 would be the minimum if I end up doing it. And then up to $40 to finish the challenge. All right, and I'm going to put a slash because I know I have 2 challenges in here. So this would be for that first card challenge. The second one will be for the Flower Farm box. And so how I pick and choose that is I have a package just full of her cards here. I did get the extension pack. I have not started on it yet. I wanted to finish the main box first. Excuse me. What I do is I get out all of her cards. The rest of the cards in here are the ones I've finished. And I'm going to put the extension pack cards to the side. And I just shuffle these up. I am terrible at shuffling, guys, by the way. So please don't judge me. Like that, a little bit. So once I've shuffled it and I have the cards to the side, I take the same 6-sided dice and I roll. I rolled a 4, so that's 2. So I'm going to pick 2 cards that I'm going to fill for next time. And those 2 cards are the lupine and a dahlia tuber. So I'm going to move these over, find these 2 in the box challenge itself. I know tubers are by themselves. I'm going to try to find lupine first. And lupine here is $14. And let's see. Tubers, I received this one, which is $26. So that is a total of $40 as well that I'm going to write here on my little cash playing cheat sheet. And so the dahlia tuber was $26 and the other being $14. Alright, so in this case, I know if I can get the $40 in full, that'd be great. Also, if I can only get one card, whether that be the 14 or 26, that'll also be fine as well. And the cards will just carry over until I fully fund them. Alright, so I take these 2 cards, so I remember what the heck I pulled the first time. I take these 2 cards and I put them here in the front with the other challenge. And so when I cash stuff and get to it, I know they're right here. Alrighty, so that's basically all I wanted to share with you guys for this video. Again, I am very new to this whole cash planning idea since I am a cashless budgeter. I never thought about cash planning outside of my priority envelopes, to be honest. So if you guys have any other suggestions, I would greatly appreciate them. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far in a video, please leave a fall emoji of any kind down in the comment section below. Thank you guys. I hope you have a blessed evening, night, day, wherever you are in the world. And I'll catch you guys next time to stuff my home binder challenges. See you later, guys.